So K-pop is making Afrobeats now.
You don't make me a farmer every day, all I do is plant seeds.
And they are calling it Korean Afrobeats.
Be a day for you, oh my sweetie Belinda.
Interesting, right? Globalization is amazing, is it not? The way that part of this song gets me every time. I can't. But on a serious note, run away to where though? Why are we running?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Some of them have been very interesting to listen to. There was one that went super viral some years back. I think I even made a video on it. What's the name of that guy? There's been this ongoing conversation on TikTok surrounding how the K-pop industry appropriates African American culture and they don't be giving credit for stuff. I mean, that's a fact that we cannot deny, and it has been happening for years and years and years, right? But recently, with the wave of Afrobeats, the popularity of Afrobeats, you know, the same thing is happening now. The way they appropriated from African Americans, they are now appropriating from Africans. I mean, to be fair, there are some that I have seen and heard that they actually give credit. So I guess, you know, that's good on that, but we cannot not talk about the fact that, like, there's always going to be that category of, you know, the people who just want to use and not give credit.
So with this song,
Baby, don't I like the word?
making the rounds on TikTok and leaving a slight trail of controversy in its wake, I thought it'd be a good a time as any to talk about the difference between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation and what I think about the whole thing. Where appreciation seeks knowledge and deeper understanding of another culture, appropriation takes, copies, or cherry picks elements of another culture for personal gain. Cultural appropriation is basically the social equivalent of plagiarism. For example, this to me is cultural appropriation. Why? Pause to read. On the other hand, when done correctly, cultural appreciation can bring about beautiful cultural exchanges. In this particular instance, Binomiko actually gave credit and talked about his Afrobeats influences. So whether you like the song or not, the man did do his homework. Now let's just hope this cultural exchange will go both ways, because if there can be a Korean Afrobeats artist, surely there can be a successful and beloved black K-pop idol. I mean, I know I'll be keeping my fingers crossed.
One big issue I have when it comes to K-pop or the Korean entertainment industry, there is this thing that they do, and it's very sinister in my humble opinion. How they, from one hand, they take from African culture, African American culture, black people in general, right? They use these things that they take to, you know, gain notoriety and also you know, get money. But on the other hand, they are shitting down on the people that they took these things from. They have so many negative things to perpetuate about, you know, black people or African people in their movies.
And she said to me, "Girl, what you was talking about? I ain't never said nothing like that before."
And it's always been like crazy to me, because on one hand you have them in movies.
아프리카 가서 뭘 한다니까? 치타랑 달리기? 하마랑 물 마시기?
Anytime they want to maybe punish their kid, for example, they would tell the kid that, oh, we'll send you to Africa. Or how in their movies still, whenever they want to talk about how they are going to volunteer somewhere or do charity work,
아프리카 공사 갔으니까 아마 열심히 우물 파고 있지 않을까요?
it's always Africa that they're coming to. And no, they don't be mentioning the country. They just say Africa, because yes, Africa is a country, right?
저 아프리카 갔을 때 말입니다. 돌아보면 제 20대는 정말 야생과 야만의 대격돌이었죠.
Patience. Patience.
The country of Africa is so backward, right? Nothing good can come off there. How is it that this backwards country, Africa, that they like to reference every time in their movies, is the same place that they steal from?
약간 아프리카에 좀 뭔가 그런 악기들로 바꾸는 거야. 뭔가 똥똥똥똥똥똥똥똥똥똥똥 이러면은 이제 우리 스타일을 좀 살리는 거야. 그걸 좀 살리고 약간 에스닉 힙. ethnic hip.
I don't know, the cognitive dissonance over there must be.
Okay, Africa and the indigenous people of America are two different things, and they're mashing it all together and calling it ethnic hip without doing any research or even credit. Like, they're just pulling a bunch of random concepts out of their ass, like, yeah, African drums, and what else? The idea of an indigenous person shouting, yeah, let's use that. In that way, we can keep our style. but it was never your style in the first place. Like, you can't appropriate the parts that you like and call it your own. That's not cool. Don't do that. Oh, hell no!
For context, she screamed hell no because they basically said the N-word. So for those of you who don't know, there is this Korean word that them Rate to the Six Korean people used to undercoverly say the N-word. And yes, I said undercoverly. I don't care if it's a word that you can find in the English dictionary or not. It's a word now. Let's move on. Thank you. You see that Korean word right there that's seated in the middle of them other English words? That word is a Korean word that means I, but in the context in which it's used here, it's actually used to say the N-word. And whenever people call them out for it, then you hear them talking about how, no, they did not say the N-word. It's actually a Korean word that they said. But in the context of what that word means in Korean, you would find that that sentence doesn't make sense, right? Because see, let's say it together. If that word means the Korean word for I, in that sentence, it's going to be yo, I, what's up? What is UI? That don't make sense, right? But yeah, that's what they be doing, some of them. And it's not only them, some white people do it too. They use that Korean word to say the N-word. And whenever people call them out for it, they be like, oh, that's not what I said. I'm saying the Korean word for I. Come on, major side I, we know exactly what you're doing. And it's a whole thing. I actually made a video on this, by the way. I'm going to link it down below in the description if you want to check it out. These gaslighting attempts of theirs that are so unoriginal, old, still, they have never worked and they would never work. But they keep fervently trying though and failing. The way these people operate very similarly to the colonizers and use their media the exact same way the colonizers use their media against Africa. On one hand, they have all of these negative things to say and all of these negative things to perpetuate in media, but on the other hand, they're like taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. It would never cease to amaze me. Like, if truly Africa and her people are so backwards, barbaric, and bad, why then are they finding it so hard to leave Africa and her people's ish alone? So I was scrolling on TikTok and this video got recommended to me. This video is from 2 years ago, 2023. It was posted.
The future of K-pop and music. K-pop is not as hot in the market as you might perceive. Globally, it's not occupying much of the market. On the other hand, Latin music and Afrobeats are very rapidly growing.
So I'm like, oh, is that why there's so many K-pop Afrobeats artists lately? I did go to look for the interview. It was actually an interview with Quest, that Quest guy from CNN.
As the chairman says, they're trying to increase K-pop's exposure. The genre is not growing as rapidly as they would like.
I won't add the entire interview because we're just a section of the interview where a question was asked.
How do you keep K-pop growing internationally and so that it doesn't just all fall apart?
And he responded back, and in his response he mentioned Afrobeats as regards to the things that are actually making waves at the moment and how K-pop is not really making waves like that.
K-팝은 사실 그 핫함에 비해서는 시장 점유율이 그렇게 높지가 않습니다. 현실적으로 글로벌로 봤을 때 생각보다 아주 높은 점유율을 갖지 않고 있고요. 오히려 굉장히 시장 점유율이 높게 성장하고 있는 건 라틴 뮤직하고 애프로비트가 오히려 굉장히 크게 성장하고 있고요. K-팝의 점유율은 굉장히 낮기 때문에 우선은 익스포저를 늘리는 게 되게 중요하고, 그거를 할 수 있도록 제가 지금 미국의 여러 가지 레이블들을 인수하고 매니지먼트 컴퍼니들을 인수하면서 인프라를 구축하고 있는 거거든요.
If you want to see the entire interview for yourself, I'm going to link it in the description. According to this article from CNN, his name is Bang Shi-hyuk. He's the chairman of HYBE, the management agency behind bands including BTS and New Jeans. And he may not be the only chairman or head of, music management agency. I don't know who is saying this and thinking, yeah, we probably should, follow the wave as well. Hence why now making Afrobeat music and, their style is now, their style is changing as well.
So recently there's been a discussion that the Korean wave it's definitely not crashing, but it is maybe coming to a plateau because you've had these big wins in music and movies. You have Parasite and you have Squid Games. But those references at this point are about 2 years old. So everyone's kind of just waiting for the next big thing. You had all in 3 years, Grammys, Emmys, Oscars. But now we're just kind of wondering, okay, what's coming next from South Korea? And I don't know, maybe there's something big on the way. Who knows? Another big Oscar movie, maybe a Grammy for the first time. But besides that, I'm going to be honest. I really do think what his statement is correct, that Afrobeats is going to be the future of music. I think post-pandemic, a lot of people at this point are just looking to dance. And I got to be honest, this music, even though I grew up with various kinds of loud music, this music, when I heard that song today, the one I just posted, I just immediately started dancing. And I was like, you know, and it's been a hot minute since a song I've heard just made me move like that, other than, Beyonce's Renaissance album, but which has Afrobeats. So I'm really looking forward to this. Well, I know it's not new, but for the American people, it will be a new genre of music. And it brings me back to, I was in Puerto Rico when Gasolina came out and reggaeton was born. Like, I saw it in real time. And I think it came out in the summer, and then like 6 months later it hit the States and everyone lost their shit. But by that point, I had already knew the song, and the music at that point was not new to me. So it's really kind of funny to see like the emergence of a whole new genre of music that's about to hit American radio waves. But yeah, when you watch the videos of Afrobeats, it's just everyone's just dancing and having a good time, and I just don't think that picture perfect K-pop thing will ever, like, globally will ever just do it. K-pop will always be relevant, but on a global dominant scale, definitely he's correct. The future is Afrobeats and Latin music.
Not that I needed such an interview for me to be able to know and or understand why we see K-pop artists now starting to make Afrobeat songs, because we already know how it goes, right? Like, it's still old as time right now. Black people do stuff, people latch onto it because it always tends to do well. I saw this video on TikTok, and the person who posted this video wrote on the video, they said, someone must close the portal from Africa to Korea, because how are you making Afrobeats and Amapiano but won't step a single foot in the whole continent of Africa? Like, it really is crazy when you think about the kind of quote-unquote relationship that these people have with Africa. It's really a parasitic relationship when you think about it. All these people seem like they want to do with and for Africans is take from us and simultaneously be disrespectful and hateful and ready to desist towards us. And I know it's not all, right? I know it's not all. I'm talking about the ones who are and their entertainment industry who are facilitating these behaviors. And to be fair, right, Western artists don't even come to Africa to tour, right? And that's a conversation that we have been having over the years. Like, why don't they come down here? It's weird, right? But, that's that for that, and we can continue to have that conversation. And I'm bringing this up now because I know there might be someone in the comment section that say, okay, what about the Western artists? They don't come here either, right? That is true. But the difference here is the Western artists are not making Afrobeats and Amapiano and doing whole performances with African dances. In this video, I know I did not exactly speak much about Amapiano, or rather, scratch that, I did not speak about Amapiano at all for that matter. But yeah, they make Amapiano music as well. And this right here is a point that really proves that this is not appreciation, it's appropriation. Because if they really do appreciate the culture that, and the people, by the way, that this genre of music, this artistic style, this creativity comes from, right, they would want to connect with the people. They would want to meet them. They would want to come tour here. But we are not seeing all of that. And that tells us all that we really need to know. And before I end this video, I want to quickly touch on the fact that, like, it gets to a point where it even becomes annoying watching it as an African, because, like, It's so inauthentic. I personally don't like how inauthentic they seem to be for real because at first it was them taking from African Americans, right? And now they are jumping to Africans. And eventually something new might pop up and these people are going to jump to that. My question now is, are you people going to sit down and create something that is unique to you guys? That is going to be authentic to you guys? It gets to a point where it starts to become like very side eye. And I know we are beyond that point, right? But what else can we say? Or what facial expressions can we even give at this point? We've given it all. Culture is meant to be shared. Culture is meant to be shared. But somehow when it comes to the music industry, right? Like then people cannot bring something that some other people can share from. Why is this door not swinging both ways? That's what I want to know. Honestly, I don't like how one way each this thing is. Like, I don't mind us having this globalized arrangement we have going on here where, one person creates something, another person likes it, and they start doing it as well. I don't mind that as long as respect is brought into it, as long as credit is given to who credit is due, as long as it's not appropriation, it's appreciation. Me, I'm cool with that. But you see this setup that we have where one group of people just get to sit back and wait for someone else to create something just so they can come lash onto it and, make money off of it and gain notoriety off of it whilst disrespecting the people that said Ish came from. That's where I have a problem, quite frankly. They love Afrobeats and Amapiano so much, but none of them has ever collaborated with any African Amapiano and or Afrobeats artists. Say with me, guys. They are appropriating, not appreciating, hence why the setup is the way it is. But what are your thoughts, guys? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll be catching you in the next one. Bye.
All right, so this person's saying they like Latin American music and saying it's great because it's always in the top 10 global charts. And African music is nice, but not something to go crazy about. Now, what if I told you Latin American music is rooted and has deep foundations in Africa, and that it's based on African rhythms, beats, and instruments? Because of African diaspora, this is what happened, and you have influences from these areas, including Puerto Rico, which is where my family is from, in Panama, which is where reggaeton was born. That all goes back to here. Everything always, in some fashion or some way, goes back to Africa. So it's important to educate yourself, be educated, because when you say, I love Latin music, but I don't like African music, it don't work like that. If you love Latin music, you love African music, because it's foundationally the same thing. The same rhythm, the same beats. The language isn't the same, but let's be real. We know why you don't like African music, but that's another conversation for another day. Now, do I think that Latin America has put their own spin and spice and flavor on it? Absolutely. But the foundations, the rhythm, it all goes back to Africa. The instruments, you guys need to, if you're in college, take a music theory class. You're going to learn a lot. I hope so. I had an amazing professor. I learned about this shit years ago. Actually, a white dude. Educate, bro. He went to town, educated us a lot. And I don't want to be the one to educate you. I just want to be the one to introduce you, because it seems like you need the education. And, you have the internet, you have resources, you have your fingertips. So please, anyone, if you want to know more about the subject, African diaspora, it's a whole thing. Educate yourself, learn something new. And hopefully you'll learn something along the way and don't post stupid stuff on TikTok.